we've got more live games for you, live action between players on the ladders. We couldn't quite find some new games for the M4C guys today. What I could find, a little bit of Bravo versus GUA. So let's hop into this. Now you get the pod, and there it is. I see it all makes sense now. But yes, this one should be exciting because Give You Anxiety, hard on the grind as usual. Feels like a few other players maybe took a break. They're a little bit frustrated, like, I didn't make it through the M4C. Damn it, time to reinvest in AoE 2. But GUA, he didn't come for AoE 2. He hasn't got that place to go back to. Instead, he's just hard on the grind as usual, and I respect that from this guy. Like, it's just non-stop of him. Give You Anxiety, always just sitting around that top 100 situation. Like, at the time of recording, he is currently, let me just double check, it's going to be 101st, so slight slip up there. A little bit surprising. I feel like he was on a hard rise just a day or two ago, but suddenly, just in the blink of an eye, it just slightly slips away. Still very competitive, though, up at the top 100. Bra also on the grind. I believe Bra has cracked top 100 now. Ooh, 118th. So they both slightly slid out. And I'm not surprised, like, Bra, we cast him just the other day. He accidentally queued up against Vortex, unfortunately for him. So I had quite the challenge ahead of him. But I expect Bra to, like, improve. I think he's definitely got a lot of potential. And he definitely seems to be honing in on the Abysses a lot. So we did see him last time playing as Abysses on King of the Hill. This time it's a more logical map, I think, for the Abysses. I think Dry Arabia suits Abysses' playstyle a lot better. Mainly because of the wood lines. I think one of the biggest limitations when you play King of the Hill is there's not enough wood. And if there's any civ that needs wood, like Abysses definitely ticks that box. They're definitely one that civs. Both of these civs are, in fact, the Roost as well, because you need it for your TC booming, right? TC booming that might also be done by the Roost. That's something I'm intrigued to see in this type of game. Like, Give You Anxiety, he's the type of player that would go for a secondary TC as Roost. And it has to be said, like, it's not the worst situation that they find yourself in. If you're playing as the Roost and you think the game's going to drag later, like, just utilizing that fact to actually get your eco boomed up and maybe unlock a quicker Imperial Age timing as a result is definitely a desirable element for this civ. In the meantime, look what Braz does. Ah, you cheeky devil. I love what I'm seeing, folks. That is going to be one hell of a bounty yoink. That's 100 gold being denied away from GUA. I love it. So well played. Meanwhile, where is GUA out of the bounty? He has at least got to 235, so not too bad. A few sheep returned. He'll at least unlock the tier 2 bounty, but won't have that ability to just yoink straight up into the tier 3 bounty. So here you go. He'll go back for the deer here to get the tier 2. Those deer that were ignored by Bra because Bra was dragging all the wolves back, which, you know, is actually an efficient thing to do, by the way, folks. Remember, these wolves are worth 25 each. The deer are only worth 10. So a deer patch is worth 70. Meanwhile, he dragged back 100 bounty worth away from the Roost. I think he has still denied this patch as well. So that should be more or less everything GUA is going to get. And that's frustrating as well, because if you're a Roost player, your dream, really, is to at least crack 350. Because if you crack 350 bounty at this stage, you can come back later for the boars. That's actually a big deal. But I don't see that really being an option right now for GUA. Like, the deer patches on his side are gone. He's going to find one straggler wolf over here, but I don't think there's any more. I think that's pretty much everything bled dry, yeah. So, yeah, he'll be locked in. And that's more frustrating. How many sheep has he got left? Ooh, that's his saving grace. Okay, he's got enough sheep to get 350. So if he moves out on the ball quickly, he will get that third tier unlock. I make it sound like it's the end of the world if he doesn't. It's not that it's the end of the world. I think it's just a big benefit if you do get it. You have to keep in mind, like, as you scale into later game and you reach, like, a critical mass of villagers, you have to start thinking about these boosters or these passive income methods. They make a difference because they're adding stuff to your economy that your opponent can't, like, necessarily achieve themselves, or, like, it's going past the threshold, right? So if we say the threshold is 120, you're not going to have more than 120 villagers. If you arrive at that lock, if you can get an extra 5% food gather rate, that's big. If you can get gold more regularly from passive hunting cabins, that's big. If you can pick up relics, that's big. Like, these things add up because when you get to that late game situation, yes, resources can become a limitation, but it has to be said, with, like, infinite food off farms and potentially infinite gold off of things like relics, the biggest limitation you actually have in the late game, resource-wise, is population. So trying to calibrate that, trying to optimize that is crucial. And say you get to a stage where you can match someone's 120 eco at only 100 eco, that is a ripple effect. That leads to you putting more military force into the battles, and that can give you a clear lead as a result of that. So GUA currently underway with the pro scouts. And Stone already been tapped by Bra. So I wonder if this is a trip TC type game as well. I think the best thing that Bra could do right now... Oh, dude, I love you. I love you, Bra. Mwah, heart for you. Because I was about to get into a monologue about how Age of Empires 2 players don't scout. Which sounds like no flame, bro, but like a lot of the AoE 2 pros that we've watched do not scout. Like, they do not scout at all. They tend to just run around, they get their sheep, and then afterwards their scout, like, kind of just doesn't have this dedicated position where it's extracting vital information. But Bra's very smart about this. Like, he's trying to harass the scouts and delay them return the carcasses, but he's keeping an eyeball on what his opponent is doing. The reason this is important is because it's going to inform him to what he can do in his own economy. Like, how greedy can I get? If I look in my opponent's base and see no military at all, then I can maybe get away with free TCs. If at this stage, however, GUA has dropped a stable, then I'm crapping myself. Then I'm like, oh, I need a Rax, I need to pad myself. Instead, what Bra's going to do, he's not going to need a Rax, he's not going to need to go defensive. Instead, he realizes he could potentially go offensive and drops a stable instead. And the reason for this stable, by the way, are the scouts. So it's not about raiding directly into the economy, onto the villager lines. It's about raiding the economy via finding these scouts. These scouts that move pathetically slow at 1.06 tiles per second when they carry those carcasses. And that will leave them very vulnerable to horsemen. Tech up underway for GUA in the meantime, though. It's pretty solid timing, actually. Sometimes it's easy to forget just how quick the Roost can still do this tech up, because we basically gave up on this idea like Carslays rushes and setting records, right? Because everyone's like, Roost horse archers suck now, boo. You know, you don't collect relics as quickly because warrior monks move slow, boo. Pro scouts got nerfed, boo. Like, all these booing. And the reason we don't think about these quick tech ups is because usually in games like this, there's already pressure there when you're trying to pro scout like this, right? Like, your opponent might have a few spears out, guarding the patches, or like he's roaming around with horsemen. But Bra is playing Abbasid, so the kind of weird gives and takes of this Civ matchup means that he's later to get his horsemen out to go harass because he's going for the second TC first. But now, trying to compensate for that, you see he double stables up, but this means he's now full tech behind and has no quick way of catching up. And I wonder, yeah, he is still gathering the stone, so Bra is prepping for the third TC. I like this play. You do need to be quick, though, because this is where things can ramp up. Luckily for you, as it stands, GUA is not ramping up at all. However, what GUA could do, instead of ramping up militarily, he could ramp up economically. Remember, folks, one thing you can do that is phenomenal as the Roost is you can double trade. So 200 gold to get 300 stone, and then all of a sudden, as long as you're wood sword, you're just insta-building a TC. And the cool thing about this strategy that I think is actually amazing for the Roost, and I expect more Roost players to be doing in the future, is it's unseen. It's unknown, right? Until you see your opponent drop the TC, you can't get any info that he's going to do it. It's not like there's a little sign outside the Golden Gate saying buying stone now, right? The only way usually you're able to kind of get tipped off about these things, say you're like running into Bra's base, you see a mining camp, right? You're like, oh, if he hasn't got a TC yet, he's getting one. But when it's the Roost, you just don't have that information at all. Horseman riding around, being a pain in the arse in the meantime for GUA, as he continues to try to return these carcasses. The Horsemen really need to focus fire. In the meantime, GUA is scouting out the greedy pocket ecos that Abbasid players have started to take hold of doing. And it looks like Bra is up to the third TC now, so he's beginning to escalate quickly. GUA is going to have to ramp this up soon. That's why he drops the stable. He wants to move across the map quickly. That's going to be a Rax as well. So this should just be Horseman to go raid and then Spearman to defend his economy. He could also just start pushing man-at-arms and then get up to like 8 of them on the outside of your opponent's base and dive in. I think that's a little bit risky though, because the map's quite big. There's a lot of distance to cover, and you don't know how far away Bra's tech up is. Like, you knew he went for multi-TCs, but due to the fact that you're investing your scouts into gathering carcasses, they're not gathering information. That's the thing that I think a lot of people forget about with pro scouts. Like, you have to choose. Are you gathering food or are you gathering info? Sometimes the info can be more valuable. Especially in the situation when you're being butchered. Bruh, just taking down the scouts. Nothing they can do. This is critical mass now. And this is frustrating. GUA is going to struggle to return the remaining carcasses. He did get a lot of it already, and he is now moving on to the relics as well. And this is something that needs to be addressed soon by Bra. Bra playing on fairly limited vision as it stands. I was just praising him for like his scouting, but right now, like, he moved out to guard this field that's already been gathered up. He's shifting around the back, trying to get an eyeball on where the relics are at to know where to guard. And at least he is pinning in GUA for the moment, but the question is for how long? It seems GUA is going to continue to push Horsemen instead of Knights, and there's good reason for this. If he pushed Knights instead, he'd never be able to gap close. Yes, you'd win out in a trade against Horsemen, but it takes you longer to build them. They can't move as quickly to location to defend you. Instead, he's relying on a composition of Rapido from the Horsemen and then tankiness from the Man-at-Arms, which I much prefer. Like I said, you do have a small window to climb through here. You need to be quick to move across. Or lol. Ooh, nice force away. Not enough Horsemen here to necessarily defend the Warrior Monk, though. He's going to have to fight. Saint Special will be given over. Man-at-Arms is going to arrive as well, so they can start to trade somewhat. With the second Warrior Monk coming in as well, GUA might be able to retrieve this relic quite quickly. Still needs to win the main fight. Whoa, oh my god, no, bro! He didn't expect this! GUA, he yoinks them! Did they just die? What? I mean, I know one side is Orthodox and the other is Shia Muslim, but this seems a little bit far-fetched. Okay, so Bra's villagers said, no, we will not worship your pagan god, and Sudoku'd themselves. Because apparently they are but aren't here. So the ghosts of religiously zealot people are just here right now. I don't get it. I'm wondering if this is because he insta-deleted them. Like, that's the only thing I can think, but why would you? Like, I just don't get it. It makes no sense. I'm doing a village account now just to be safe. Like, yeah, so he isn't being taxed for it, but is Bra being taxed for it? That's the important detail I need to know right now. This could be this could be game breaking if he's being taxed for it. Oh my god, is he being taxed? No way. Okay, no. Okay, false alarm. We're safe, guys. My heart for Bra for a second there. I was like, that's a scam right there. For a moment, it looked like he was being taxed for the villagers, even though they're not there. This must just be a graphical, but I don't know what this is. Like I said, villagers, they're too religiously supportive of the Abbasid way, okay? They will not convert to Christianity. Instead, they will just go on strike and stand there holding their food baskets for a few years. All right, well, that's amply distracted us. There has been things going on. GUA is playing towards the Sacred Site control, and he's marching into Bra's economy lines. A healthy number of man-at-arms. And Bra, yeah, he did just get his sec up, but now he needs to get the troops out. The only thing he can do right now is Lancers. Lancers that will do reasonably well up against the forces they're facing, but really you want to get crossbowmen out. And that's why he's got them coming out of the back district. Villagers will be able to garrison quick enough in the meantime. GUA will try to burn down the outposts. Says, let me in. You denied me your villagers, so now let me deny them a different way. Deny them life. But this isn't going to be good enough. He has to run away. I feel like this was my concern, right? We highlighted this a few minutes ago. Is if you go for the man-at-arms and you try to, like, stack up 9 or 10 and go across your opponent's base, you actually give him enough time to get a tech up. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. It's kind of sad as well for GUA. Like, I feel like he got ripped off in this game. If these villagers got converted, just imagine what he could have done with them. He could have dropped an outpost right next to his opponent's base. And you wouldn't have been able to deny it. You wouldn't have been able to stop it. You wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. Because Bra was out of position. His military force was away from home. They were a foreign legion at that stage. So, really kind of ripping my hair out for GUA here, as I definitely think he got scammed on this. Meantime, Sacred Sites are under control of GUA, so Bra will have to get out of space soon. This is exactly why Give You Anxiety is doubling down the aggression inside the Abbasid eco lines, is he just wants to keep his opponent pinned in. If he's forced to react defensively, he can't move out aggressively onto these Sacred Sites. However, crossbows are now emerging, and this is where GUA is going to be forced out. This was the concern. Maybe he at least burns down the outpost, but I don't think he can even hang around to do that. He has to leave, and he will leave slowly with those man-at-arms. In the meantime, more horsemen being pushed out, scouts as well. I love the fact that GUA continues to push scouts, actually. Not a lot of players would have done this, but it's burn down value, it's raid value, right? Like, you can't kill villages with them, sure, but you can kill buildings. I say you can't kill villagers. Admittedly, there's still no textiles from either player in this game, which is very surprising. Considering Bra has free TCs, like I don't think you've got any excuse to not get textiles. You're going to be playing pocket economies everywhere, right? So if they're out in the middle of no man's land, is it not beneficial to have 50% more health? I think so. Villagers forced away again. Once again, GUA will renew the assault, but these assaults are looking like an insult to my eyes right now, as they are just not really doing the damage they should be. They're at least once again distracting Bra, and that's what we said his main purpose is, but you have to be weary of the fact that your opponent is scaling his economy. He's got free TCs, he's booming up very fast, he's even getting more military buildings down to ensure he can accelerate ahead of you. And I feel like this army hasn't really grown, it's kind of just been going steady. And that's worrying when you consider how much GUA is investing in replacing the units lost. But finally, Outpost, this time, will be burnt down. Villagers move out, try and get a little bit of emergency repairs, but they're going to be targeted instead. And they're just quickly going to be dispatched. Most of them dead, only 2 left, garrison inside, and instead going to chase away the crossbows once again. But Bra, I wonder if he just takes a small contingent and wraps around. I think the issue for Bra is he wants to go for a decap, but as it stands, like, he doesn't have horsemen out in the field. And he can't get them out in the field without them being noticed because his stables are on the front line. That means he has to get rid of GUA first. So Spears, once again, is poking, prodding him. Still no upgrade into Vet Spearmen, which is a little bit surprising at this stage. I mean, there's definitely value. It's finally coming through. I definitely think this could have been done a little bit sooner. There's definitely enough horses here to justify its investment. And considering how good they are against crossbows as well, I think you should always be upgrading your Spearmen. So he'll eventually get there, but by the time he does, they're all dead. So that's a bit concerning in this situation. Crossbows should at least deal with the remainder of GUA, but GUA has got a lot of horsemen riding over here. And although those horsemen will eventually get cleaned up, they are going to be frustrating and once again keeping Bra in his base, ensuring that the Sacred Site victory condition continues to tick down. It's been, what, about 2 minutes so far it must be? Now, one thing that is concerning me a little is because GUA is so in on the Congo line of death, he's not really investing in defenses here. There's no wooden fortresses, there's no keeps, there's nothing to actually really protect from Bra just riding in with a single horseman and decapping these. And with the army being cleaned up, I think that's what's going to happen soon. And you can see GUA is rallying his troops on the side of the base again. But notice that there's a good reason why he keeps going into the base, right? Instead of just guarding it like a coast guard, it's because if he does choose to just flow back and forth from the side of the base, things are going to break out, right? There's going to be random units running out the sacred sites. If you go into his base, Bra has to respond with his full military might to repel you away. Of course, the downside is it costs you a lot of units in the process. Veteran Horseman riding in with the crossbows again. Crossbows of his own now, this time for GUA. Although I have to wonder, would have Archer's been a little bit better? I think he's a little bit too paranoid about the man-at-arms. Man-at-arms that really are not making an appearance. It's just Spears right now. I feel this is a missed trick by GUA. If he actually just got a few Archers out, Archers would have been fantastic here. Good trade-outs against crossbows and good trade-outs against the Spears. But instead, kind of suboptimal. A little bit underwhelming. It means the Spearmen are really unanswered. The crossbows on the side of Bra are able to get rid of the man-at-arms every time he turns around to retreat because they keep getting shuffled to the back of the formation. And this is where it gets delicate. GUA now getting into the Mangonels. Mangonels that haven't made an appearance just yet for Bra. Good reasoning as well. There's a heavy investment in cavalry out of GUA. So should you choose to go into siege weapons as the opposite player, there's a high chance they just get eliminated straight away, right, with a ride-in from horsemen. So that's exactly why he hasn't built them yet. But he might soon in response to the emerging crossbows with man-at-arms. Especially if you get enough spears. I think that's the cool thing here. If you're forced to go spears instead of man-at-arms, like forced to as if it's a bad thing in this game, I think it frees up a lot of economy, and over time, it can justify you getting Mangonels, whereas if you were going man-at-arms, it might feel a little bit too pricey. Moving in. Don't worry, guys. Only 2 villagers at risk here. These ones don't exist. Just chilling like, how did we get here? When can I go across to the other world? When can I go to heaven and see my granddaddy? Not yet, my child. You must wait for this game to end, and I'm going to warn you now, it's going to be a long one. GUA will chase out onto the Spearman. Spearman trying to deny the Mangonel, but Mangonel is going to survive here. Crossbows could easily finish it off, but at the moment they're trying to clean up the remaining counterpart to them in this fight. But now the Horsemen are free to chase in, and it's a heavy investment in the Horsemen, and there's no Spearman anymore. And Bra, I think he stopped producing them as well. The Sacred Site victory condition is at least gone, but now you need to replace your army quick. The good news, of course, if you're a Bra fan, is he has a healthy eco lead of 20 still, so you can afford it. However, if they continue to idle like this, I don't know if he'll be able to afford anything. What is with Abbasid villagers in this game? They refuse to be converted. They refuse to work. Lazy people. Spearman. Not many of them, just enough though. That will force the Horsemen away. These are damn good trades. However, the Mangonel's now coming out. GUA is starting to march further into the base of Bra. Mago shots. A little bit of a home and seeking effect there. I mean, they are basically homing rocks. I don't know how you train a rock to home in on someone, but somehow Age of Empire 4 civs have figured out the technology. Nice Sprinter Snipe as well. So Mags still not addressed. Means the Spearman can't directly fight the Horsemen near the siege. However, the siege, they got a new target, a better target. The Mangonel shots! Oh my god, bro! He doesn't know! He's going to click to burn them, but he needs to turn and burn with the villagers instead. He'll finally move them away just in time as well. The damage will not be done. Textiles will save the day. That could have been crippling. And now the cripple will come the other way. Double Mangonel snipe. Both of them are dead. So that's a heavy hit into GUA. GUA not ready for a tech up just yet. Nowhere near ready, in fact. Bro, this is where he can start to kind of go cruise mode, right? He can start to kind of contest. You can see he's got the military lead now. His eco is still healthy. He lost a few, but he still has the lead. And with 3 TCs, he will accelerate quickly. It has to be highlighted as well that GUA is still playing on 1 TC. He is getting some floated economy off the back of having banked 5 relics and having multiple sacred sites under his control, which is evening up the difference for now. And it will be very useful if you manage to reach that kind of critical mass we talked about of 120 villagers, but you have to get there first. And my concern is, can Bra accelerate ahead of you and crack Imperial before you if he gets his eco up to plus 100 first? I think it's feasible. And I think with this size of force as well, it might just be that Bra starts to ride out instead and prolong this castle age for both. Oh, and GUA didn't notice the Mangonel! Oh, that's a freebie. He was looking elsewhere. A very split formation and very out of position will be punished, and Sacred Site will be decapped. Screw in the meantime won't be sniped. One Spearman won't do it. And GUA did finally invest in Winter Fortresses here. I'm glad he done this, but it feels so late to have done it. He's at least finding value in going out for these outer ones as well, because it has to be highlighted that usually the boars spawn close to the sacred sites. So it's very beneficial for a Roost player to move out, set up the wooden fortress, and then go for the boar afterwards, because it's so kind of condensed together on a lot of these maps. March forward. Bra pushing his opponent back. Sacred Site decapped in the center, so once again, GUA going to be denied that victory condition. Getting ever more frustrating for him. Second TC now there. GUA says, whoa. What was that about an eco deficiency? Dog, I don't know what he's talking about. Can't be there for me. Wouldn't be me. Second TC. I was wondering when we were going to see it. We did highlight that the Roost can do it quite freely, courtesy of the Golden Gate, not even needing to put people on stone in the first place. And it took a lot longer than expected. But that was for good reason. GUA, he was trying to go for the victory condition of Sacred Sites. Now realizing that's not feasible, he changes tune. And all of a sudden, we're going to have to see if Bra is ready to dance to the songs of the 80s instead of the 70s. Because he's going to need to switch it up the way he plays this game as well. Continuing on the way it's been going isn't going to be good enough. Cannon foddering units out is going to get you the decaps, but it's not going to get you full control. This, however, can. A fourth keep coming out from Bra on that central sacred site to ensure that victory condition won't happen again. But GUA, he has noticed that the butchering will commence, but I don't think it's quick enough. The villagers will be able to complete the keep and then get inside it. Yes, there's a hit into the eco line. The Mangonel shot coming way too late to have a big impact, an everlasting impact, in fact. Bra, although he will forget to garrison, he will at least get the keep up. Got to be said that Bra is making a lot of kind of awkward misplays with his villagers, right? Like we saw it on the stone line where he almost lost so many of them. We just saw it there where he lost additional villagers that need be on the keep. So it feels like Bra isn't really playing like optimally from a micro perspective. And this is something that GUA could utilize heavily as the game goes on if he starts to go for those dynamic raids on the east and west front. Because I feel like with what I've been seeing, if I was in this game and I'm GUA and I'm seeing how slow Bra is to react to some of this, if I notice that, I'm going to make the assumption that he can't handle multiple fights that well, right? Whether it's true or not, like, you know, I haven't watched enough of Bra from AoE 2 to know like how good he was at microing in that game. But like going by this game in a vacuum, it does look like he's missing a lot of tricks. And Bra, he continues to deny GUA his win condition, but you have to question where his own is coming from. I mean, in this type of game, I think Bra, what he really needs to aim for is that Imperial unlock. But it's scary because if you invest in Imperial, you actually open the floodgates for GUA to do the same. And it has to be highlighted that if you go into that hyper late game situation, while the Abyss's do have some upsides, there is a very big downside as well. And that's that you're dealing with the Siege of Rus. And that means your siege advantage of building out the field is diminished because of the power of the sprinkled range that the Rus get. Not to mention the bang for buck, right, with the high armory making them 20% cheaper. Overall, I don't think I like this game for Bra if it has to drag into Imperial. I think he needs to find a way to gain more ground here in Castle, and that's exactly what he's doing with this keep drop. Meanwhile, Spearman continue to chase out. Burns come out into Sprills. These Sprills not being protected or repaired. I know Hunting Cabin Crawl really coming out is quite surprising here. I mean, look at this from GUA. It's kind of interesting how many players don't prioritize this variable about the Rus. For 100 wood between these two wood lines, you get a huge amount of gold, right, from the Hunting Cabin. But instead, he uses that space to put a wooden fortress and a lumber camp. I don't know. I feel like this still hasn't been utilized that well by a lot of Rus players. Like, it still feels like there's a misunderstanding about how good or bad Hunting Cabins are. And I think it's like it's been pushed on by the fact that when people tried this in the early days of release, it fell flat. It wasn't very impressive. It was pretty sucky, to be said. Now, as a result, it feels like that residual effect from it being crap in the early days is people still look at it and they're like, nah, it's doggy poo-poo, I don't want it. I think there's a lot of value in Hunt Cabins, especially if you think this game's going to drag out, especially considering what we just said about the passive gold that can't be matched on the other side. Mago shot. Ooh, he needs more, though. The repairs are good. They're actually scaring him away, but Bra's going to get the keep repaired. He's going to get it up regardless. He will not be denied. And that's another keep down for the side of the Abyssids and more central control going their way. So what do I mean by that passive gold, right? It's the fact that GUA is up at 88, Bra's up at 109. Eventually, they're going to get to critical mass. It's very obvious this game is heading to a stage where both sides are going to exceed about 120 villages. Once you reach that stage, any surplus gold you can generate through passive income makes the difference here. And it's where hunting cabins become an incredibly fantastic late-game tool for the Rus. But I think the thing that scares a lot of players is actually, it has to be highlighted that one of the most finite resources in hyper late-game situations in Age of Empires 4 isn't food. Food never runs out. Gold, yes, you can kind of see that one. I say wood is the most notable one that gets used in a lot of things. It dries up fast, especially on a map like Dry Arabia. So I think the reason we don't see more Rus players spamming out hunting cabins at the 20 to 30 minute mark in the game is they're paranoid about the 40 to 50 minute mark. Instead of thinking about the 60 to 70 minute mark, right? They're fixated on this, we're going to run out of wood. And I don't want to have to wasted wood on this many hunting cabins that only have 750 HP and can be burnt down quickly. So instead, they just hoard all the wood for much needed things such as siege weapons, fortresses, palisades, whatever it may be. And it means that they're just forgoing what will be fantastic infinite gold scaling in the hyper late game. So TLDR on that. Playing to end the game now instead of playing to end the game in an hour when everything's gone. Raids coming through. Bra is being a little bit frustrating. The Spearmen do not kill fast, but they are gradually killing, as we can see here. And oh, GUA, has he even noticed it? I don't think he sees this at all. This is going to hurt him. So he'll finally peel away. I think he only lost maybe 1 or 2 villages. But this is getting frustrating. Bra is getting a lot of bang for buck. Think about how different the map control is now after all this has happened, right? Think about how much of the map GUA had just like 7 minutes ago. Now, Bra has full control, and he's taking up ahead of GUA. This just got really scary for the Rus boy. And Rams as well. He needs to get some space. He knows it. But look what's happening from Bra. Remember, the Abyssids, you have this power spike in Castle with Siege being built in the field, but you cannot build bombards. However, if you set yourself up with a double Siege workshop on the front, you have all the answers. You can even be Trebs in this situation. I like either. And this timing is going to cripple GUA. GUA is still building up his forces. Got the gold on 69 on the military force, but he's not pop capped yet. So he's not comfortable to go for Imperial. And instead, a new keep being constructed. Bra, he gets scared away though. He retreats a little bit too soon. Spears in the center. Trying to hold back GUA. Spear's moving through, looking to deal with Bra's anti-siege that he's barely built up himself. And now it's going to be Culverins coming out for the Abyssids as they are up in Imperial. And this is going to get scary. GUA, he needs to find value right now. Because if this escalates, if he goes in stalemate and he lets everything come through in the next 2 minutes for Bra, the tech ups are going to kill him. they're going to crucify him, right? You're going to have to be dealing with the fact that there's going to be the additional health from boot camp. You're going to have to deal with the elite status, the gold hats coming out in the spears and the archers. And then all of a sudden, this game gets grim for the Roos. And that's why he moves. Mago count is healthy. So much siege here for GUA, and he needs value out of it quick. For the Culverins could punish him. However, he's gap closed it. So now when the Culverins come out, they could be instant-sniped by the Springholds. And Bra, he's given over ground. He's got a lot of spears, but he doesn't want to fight with them just yet. There's just too many archers. GUA read this perfectly. We talked about it. Stop with the crossbows, get on the archers, and he's definitely done that. Plenty of them here to fight. In fact, 16 ready to just pepper the spears with arrows. The damage is being done. The Culverin value just not being found. GUA is going to be able to assault on the main base soon if he continues with this path. But first, he needs to get through the forward base. And it's a heavy investment as well. I mean, Bra, he can't give this over is the problem, but the trip ram is causing him trouble. The repairs are coming out from the villages. The cannon upgrade about to complete, but the Mangonel is going to butcher the repair force. And maybe it would have been more value just to go for the rams, because all of a sudden this keep is going to be going down. 4 district control is going to be lost. Villagers riding out to try and deal with the Mangonels. Heavy damage done, not targeting the limp one. We'll finally get rid of both. They'll turn on the Springles next. But after all this, Bra now taking a heavy hit to his eco count, losing the 4 base, and a heavy investment as well. 800 stone, 900 wood. In fact, even more. It's 1,100 wood in this base here. And it's just going to fall like that. At a fragile state as well. Remember what we said about this map. Remember what we said when you get around that 40 to 50 minute mark. What's the limitation? What do you run out of? It's wood. I can hear the stronghold man telling me wood is needed in my head at all times, because that's what this turns into. That's what it's going to arrive at soon. Bro, it's a Congo line of death. It's almost like they're just on parade right now. Look at our pretty gold hats, they say. And GA's like, well done. Peppers them with arrows. Takes their gold hat as a trophy. Wears it. Rubs their balls with it. Says victory. Because right now, Bruh is definitely taking a lot of losses. The Rams found their value. They're getting through all the siege workshops here. Bruh, he has a small contingent sitting in the back of GA's base. They're actually pleading for asylum right now. They want nothing of what's coming. Because despite the fact that GA is an age behind, he's done the required moves. He's gaining ground. He's getting that breathing room. And also, it has to be said, like, I wouldn't say that fight cost him that much, right? Like, you can see his military is much more healthy than Bra's now. And it means that he will be able to start padding his economy and holding on to surplus, which will allow him to unlock Imperial. Should he unlock Imperial, then we're talking about siege control for the Roos. And that is where this game gets scary for Bra. Well, oh, come on, you want asylum? You can't ask for asylum in the back of the base and then move like that. Oh, Bra. We'll continue through to the eco lines and... Whoa. GUA. Shivs out, kill the spearman, and then maybe get to work, because that's a lot of idle villagers right now. There's no wood here anymore. He'll shift them away now. Mangonel will actually look to clean up the stragglers around the back of his base. But yeah, look how much time is being wasted. Look how far they have to go as well. There is still a wood line here, but soon GU has to move out. And that's why it's important he's taking control of the center. He needs these wood lines more than anything else. Rams will get rid of another keep. And what in the goose are you doing, bro? No! There's no way. There's no way he thinks this is a good idea, right? Double siege workshop drop on the front line? Okay, that's a generous donation to the GUA Foundation. As these things are going to be reduced to their foundations. That's 300 wood. Mate, that's 600 wood just wasted. Bruh. That's exactly what I'm saying. Bruh, what are you doing? Oh, I mean, this. I don't know. Maybe they came from the other... Maybe these villagers came from the back side of the map. And they thought this siege workshop was a good idea back then, but Bruh forgot about it. Because there's no way that in that moment, within like 10 seconds of them being started being constructed there, was that seen as a good idea. There's no way that he looked at it and went, I'm going to drop siege workshops there. Maybe it was a misclick. Maybe it was done ages ago. But either way, that looked pretty goofy. I mean, that looked like a me play more than a Bra play. Archers will at least now be chased away. But, I mean, the Rams, they're moving across for a new target. It's amazing how fast Rams sometimes look. Anyone ever just look at the Rams and think they kind of look like... it just kind of looks like a prop, you know? Like when someone's under a box and they kind of move the box up and move along. Kind of has that feeling. of it when you look at the animation. The only animation that matters right now is the animation that giant log slammed in the side of the keeps. Damage being done. Army being cleaned up again. GUA with the potent siege. These Rams have definitely extracted value. They will eventually fall here. 1 or 2 of them will go down the keep, but the keep is going to fall as well. And Bra, I mean, he's just forfeiting everything now, and this is where the game gets scary, because GUA, he's on his way up. High armory being constructed, siege workshops being prepped, units ready to come out. And when he gets his hands on the shutter triggers, when he gets his hands on the additional range that you get as the Roost, courtesy of your unique tech in the high armory, all of a sudden, Bra doesn't even have the option of siege anymore. In fact, if I'm Bra right now, stop doing this. He's doing it again. This might become the new front line in a matter of seconds, and he's building siege workshops here once more. He needs to just go into Horseman. I think Horseman can be a saving grace here, but everything else about this, like what's happening right now, is to his detriment. He's giving more ground over as this continues. Please build Horseman. Please. Please build Horseman. He has one stable. He has one stable, and he's playing up against a heavy composition of crossbow archers and siege. Please build Horsemen. Oh, I mean, he might get a culverin out or two. My concern is, like, right now, like, the only reason you haven't lost his siege workshops here is because GUA just teched up. So, placing these siege workshops is a hell of a gamble if your opponent isn't teching up, right? You're probably going to lose them again. That's another 600 wood down the drain. And your wood is running out. Like, look at the back of his base right now. Do you see wood? Not much of it. This is like, you know, kind of open field. Like, this is kind of like when you're going down the highway and there's a few nice trees on the side, but there's no forest anymore, right? Deforestation is set in. Welcome to the 21st century. That's what's happening here. And this is what GUA is smart to identify. He's dropping a wooden fortress right here. Oh, this is so painful. And this is exactly why it's called Give You Anxiety, because this makes you anxious. You're slowly getting boxed in. Stone walls are going up, but just one measly Horseman is enough to deny a lot of this walling that's coming out from Bra. So he can't even get the wiggle room. He's trying to create a choke point, right? Because his worry right now, we just said, build Horseman. Why are you not building Horseman? Well, if he's not going to build Horseman, and his opponent is, he needs to create a choke point. He needs to create a funnel point where mobility isn't an issue. But he can't do it. The west side has been under GUA's control for the last 10+ minutes. Remember, he had this wooden fortress down a long time ago. And it makes it very hard to actually get rid of this all unless you invest a sizable force. And should you do that, considering it's static with all these infantry units, you'll be out of position, and that will give the thumbs up, the green light for GUA to ride in with the main battalion. I say the main battalion. The main battalion is mainly just artillery at this point. This is getting ridiculous. 6 Springolds, 6 Mangonels. Full range upgrade as well. All tech's teched. I mean, he's got premium right now. And, well, bro, his siege just got discounted. Heavily discounted. And you notice, no culverins, right? Where are the culverins? There's one. This culverin with 12 tile range. I've got bad news for you, bro. Springolds have 13.5. Ah, that hurts. That hurts to see. At least he's got trade going for him, right? And wait, did he? Oh, I was about to say there's no way he done it right because you take military wing. But this is, like, if you even thought for a second you were going to end up here, you would have taken trade wing, right? Oh, man. This is frustrating now. Bro, there you go. There's the reactionary force. But because you react like that, what can you do elsewhere? Well, it looks like GUA is going on a little bit of a treasure hunt here. As he sees all these golden, shiny things running to the back of his base, he wants to get a little bit closer and see what they are. While Bra has nowhere to run with this force, it is forcing the entire siege army back. And that is the weakness of GUA's composition. He's just as much reliant on causing choke points, on forcing choke points. The problem is that, although he will now wall himself in, this wall should have been here before. And because it isn't, it means that these spearmen could be quite the nuisance, because although they might not kill Eco, what they are doing is they're drawing the full attention of GUA's army, and while his full army is here massacring these poor little spearmen that drew the short sticks of having to go do this role, what's happening in the south is territory gained. Bra is going to get out. This time he's going to be able to get the walls up. He's also going to be able to move forward. He'll have access to these wood lines that he's already chipping into. And this is a critical detail, a mistake made by GUA, or rather forced by Bra. By drawing the attention of his opponent's force to the back of his own base, he's not postured to instantly punish into the central keep the moment he sees that raid on the west side. Really well played by Bra. The battering ram does not last long at all. Bye. And the Culverins are a little bit scary, but remember, folks, what we said. The Skrillons, they still have the edge. And now Streltsy, it's time. Understandably so. What are you up against, really, that you're scared of as Streltsy? I mean, you massacre most of the units ahead of you. You just want as much raw damage as possible. Skrillons doing a little bit of a dance. Culverin almost getting sniped. That range is ridiculous. Streltsy, we melee units now, boys. I mean, in fairness, they do come with an axe. Oh, but these Skrillons. There's the Mangonels finally. So only one, maybe two of them will be lost. And all of a sudden, you have to back up. And these Mangonels, they're no joke, folks. They can actually take down keeps quite effectively. However, this one is heavily upgraded by Bra. Bra. Uh-oh. Crossbows? Crossbows are not being targeted. Where'd the shots go for the Mangonels? Oh, no. These trades, the repairs as well. Oh, Bra. On point. GUA, not so much there. That's a heavy sacrifice. That's going to force a retreat. Back behind the walls he goes. And these walls are not great protection, remember. Skrillons, Culverins, they can shoot over them. So you are still susceptible to fire. You can't just park Mangonels behind him. And there's been a breach. Bra, he's tearing him apart. All of a sudden, the fact that he has a static army doesn't bother him because GUA is stuck there too. He invested too heavily into the siege army, and he no longer has that dynamic force of horsemen to his composition. And that is something that Bra wants to utilize to his advantage. Moving in, sniping more Springolds. Mangonel shot will save this one. But more ground being gained. The Great Wall of Bra continues to extend its reach. Meanwhile, Bra's troops will reach into the back of GUA's base. They're looking for that primed economy. They're not really going to find it. This would have been the best butchering you'd probably find in this area. They'll continue around nonetheless. Still only Culverins in the siege composition for Bra. He's got one Trev out in the field now, though. 5 Culverins. Oh, and you know what? You would have thought the Skrillons would have had the clear edge, but we just saw their weakness, right? It's the armor factor. 50 missile resistance. Double the health. I mean, it really adds up. When you consider the damage as well, obviously doing a lot more damage per shot. I mean, they have the ability to insta-snipe, as you can see there. 285 damage done before reduction. And after that reduction, it's still plenty to kill off a Springold with one shot. So, as long as Bra micros this correctly, he has a clear, emphatic advantage here. But that's the detail that matters. He has to micro it correctly. Speaking of micro, did he split off into groups in the end? I don't think he did. GUA has continued to waste all of his time chasing through his backlines here, though. And once again, it's just no territory gained. And that's scary because, like, you're in a game now where it becomes a resource log, right? It's a territory grab. Like, how do I extract more value off the map quicker than my opponent? And Bra's doing that. He's forcing cheap units in these choke points. He's wasting a lot of time with GUA. However, GUA with this many Streltsy, he's starting to get some edge here. The only issue with this unit is kind of the micro element. Unless you want to min-max micro, they're not necessarily doing all the damage they could be. But they are slowly but surely getting through the Spearmen. Just proving how dangerous Streltsy potentially can be here when they're standing still and their opponents are running into them. But the concern here is Bra's going to keep throwing out Spearmen like this. It doesn't really cost him anything that he's going to run out of, right? It's primarily food. And the whole concept of this is it just keeps the Mangonels back at the back of the base at all times. All the while, he slowly creeps in with his Trebs, snipes out the keeps. He moves in with the Culverins, snipes out the Skrillons, the Mangonels. And he knows that eventually it will come down to wood and gold, and he will have the edge because he's not throwing away these units. I said that. He's about to throw away a Treb. That's a freebie. Streltsy focus fire onto it. Streltsy moving in for the Culverins now. This could be one hell of a good move. But he's being blocked off. Can't actually easily reach it. The Mangonels are going to clear the way, though. Movement forward. Culverin's going to turn around to the Mangonels now. And this is where the Streltsy have to find their value straight in. They can't decide if they want to throw torches or guns. They're going to throw shots straight into the Culverins. 2 of them are going to fall. Mangonel count still at 4. Springle count looking healthy as well. And Bra's going to have to give over more ground. And we might see another Siege Workshop district burnt to the ground here. That goes in the meantime. Butcher in the stone line. That's going to sting. Bra, he wanted to extract these difficult resources in the center as quickly as possible, but been unable to do so. Now G-Way able to push forward. Streltsy are in. And they are looking hot right now. They're going to go deeper, and they're going to find the trade line. Oh, no, this is worst case scenario. I mean, Bra, he's padded for a while, especially on the food front, but this is not what you want to be sacrificing now, and they die so quickly. Oh, only 90 health and nothing they can do against the Streltsy. And the Streltsy, they don't even have to contest underneath the keep. All they have to do is spread out, maybe in a line formation across this gap, and they will deny everything from Bra. And look at the gold he's going to miss out on. 171 per bag. And meanwhile, GUA looking like he's got the swag right now. I mean, it is so much eco damage. Good God. GUA, why do you hate donkeys? Important questions being asked today. Horseman now riding out to punish this, though. And the Streltsy, they can get butchered here. I mean, the Streltsy, they take a lot of damage, folks. Those Horsemen, remember, they do 29 damage per poke up against Streltsy. Streltsy are going to stand their ground, though. I think GUA realized what he was doing wrong there. Moving them is actually detrimental. Just hold them on the spot, because at least then they get the increased damage, the increased attack speed. That's the best way to utilize them. They're probably going to go down regardless. And they are doing a lot of damage. My God! I mean, this is just reminding me of, like, you know, the Takeda versus the Oda clan, if anyone follows their Japanese history. Gunpowder introduced and cavalry massacred. But in this situation, the cavalry zerg a little bit too hard for the Streltsy to deal with. And the reinforce is a little bit too slow for GUA to actually clump up. I think he needs to be careful here. If he keeps running them across blindly like this, he's just going to sacrifice a lot. And that's why he's going to waypoint them a little bit close to his base. There are a lot of horsemen to worry about. Mangonel's riding in. Streltsy on the west side as well. They're sneaking through because the wall was never complete. Oh, no. I mean, people wonder about how important that Great Wall was to China. Well, the Great Wall of Bra, like, if you wanted to see what would happen if the wall wasn't complete for China, this is it. Raids. Poor innocent people butchered en masse because you won't be able to keep the horde at bay. And the stone being extracted now. GUA's like, no, I'm taking this away from you. It's like right now, Keeps have been Bra's toys. Like, no, you can't have this anymore. The GUA will extract all of it and pull the villagers away. Streltsy are getting free fire in the meantime, as only a few horsemen will actually pay attention to them. Knights now moving out, but not gold-hatted yet. Haven't been upgraded. Now the horsemen riding through onto the Streltsy. Knights would trade out well if there was enough of them. Streltsy are trading out as well pretty damn well in the meantime because they have a nice 41 base damage that you can't do much about. And with the assistance of a bombard as well, the natural counter to horses is, of course, the cannons. Big and small. And just like that, once again, Bra butchered. Now look at that eco sizing. Before, remember, he was up over 10k surplus. But all of a sudden, that's starting to get drained. GUA, he's just getting his life-sucking straw, and he's tapping it right into Bra's vein and draining him dry slowly. And this Ford Keep, this is big. GUA extracts all the stone and then puts it to good use. The walls will never be complete. And Bra, because of the way he's laid his base, there's nowhere for him to layer this, right? There's no way for him to complete this wall. He can't actually block himself in. Ay, ay, ay. This is going to be problematic. The Streltsy are in. Spearman as well. I like this transition. It's been enabled by what Bra has done. And now, all of a sudden, GUA has a cheap cannon fodder unit that can burn down buildings. However, look at the size of the cannon fodder coming his way. Bra, big force pushing in. Villagers out of position. Oh, no! The half-complete walls. He's going to be blocked in. That's a heavy hit. 26 villagers going down. And look at GUA's economy size. This hurts. This stings. This cuts deep in to the Roos economy. Why go diving for eco units when they can come to you? Ay, caramba, this hurts. Streltsy looking to return the favor, but really not enough of him to do so. At least he has a few knights prowling around the cavalry line, the trade lines rather. Guess the archer cavalry as well. Just sniping them out one by one. But it's a small inconvenience at this stage. Remember, the Abysses, they do get these traders nice and cheap at 50 wood and 50 gold. Of course, he isn't getting the benefits of the trade wing as he wasn't able to get it in the end. But he's still getting a lot of value nonetheless. Now, horsemen continue to ride up towards the north. They won't find an easy entrance. They could torch these walls quickly, though. Remember, these are elite horsemen. And this right here is Bra smelling weakness. He understands what he just done. He understands the lead he now has. He's been sacrificing eco, but nowhere near as quickly as GUA. And GUA, now feeling overly defensive, goes for a much more reasonably positioned keep. because he needs to make sure there's no sneak in. However, there is going to be a sneaky snake sneaking in to the north. Yeah, I say that. You can't quite see it easily, but he is burning through the wall, the tiny piece to the side of the gate. And he will be in. And GUA, he still has a lot of vulnerable economy back here. There's a lot of workers who are on farmlands in the back here. The horsemen can go, oh, what? Okay, thank God. Brad misclicked there onto the palisade gate, so he's losing a lot of additional horsemen he needed to. And he will lose a lot of horsemen on the way in because of these wooden fortresses, but it looks like a lot of them haven't even been upgraded. A few of them have palisades, other ones have been neglected. But while Brad's doing this, he's not letting up in the center. Bombard shifting forward onto the keep. And GUA, like, where is the army? I feel like it's been drained. Look at him right now. He started to drain Brad's surplus, but he has no surplus of his own, and that's scary in this situation. And horsemen, they just ride through. They say, thank you. I see you got rid of these pesky wood lines. You forgot to replace them with some more formed wood in the form of a palisade wall, and that means we'll go deep into your lines once more. Spearmen in the meantime, moving out into the keep. They'll assassinate the villagers. Mangonel shots coming out. This could be big. Damage being done. Hits are good. Heavy damage onto the line. Bryce about to lose the whole Spearman battalion. Oh my goodness. The keep will not stand, but neither will Bra's central army. Just a few Streltsy will clean up the stragglers. A heavy hit there, but Bra quick to replace them. Remember, he still has a huge surplus, but that will drain a lot of that surplus food that he has been building up. However, over time, he will recover because the big difference here is GUA, he never took to trade. He never actually looked to tap into that element because it's too pricey for him. But Bra has renewed it. He's got it back up and online and looking pretty damn healthy now. And this is where he can take a very decisive lead over the Rus. Raids continue around the back, and GUA, it feels like we've been here before 20 minutes ago, running around his own base, not really doing anything else, and now it's a double up on the eco. After 50 minutes, GUA is notably falling behind in the economy department, and he's being butchered further. He couldn't pull the villagers back. They were stuck on the goal line on the central because he needed everything he could get. Because everything he's producing is expensive. The Springles, the Mangonels, the Streltsy, everything here requires big buku bucks. And if he can't pay up the gold, he can't pay out the units. Springle is going to be sniped. I mean, these horsemen. Ooh, what? In the, I don't know. Maybe Relic should hire a mathematician because last time I checked, 0 usually means dead. 0 out of 240 health on this build, but it will survive. It's got the track on. I will survive just playing on repeat. If it ever stops playing it, it'll instantly flop to the ground in a pile of splinters and beams. And once again, Bra just looking to break in. Setting up outposts on the fort as well. Tapping all this wood. It's becoming a problem. GUA. Yep, I was wondering if this might happen. He's in full recovery, but this is a wonky point in the game to need a new TC because there's barely any wood left, right? So investing that heavy chunk of wood, 400 wood in this building, it hurts you. Even stone becoming a heavily limited factor. There's only a few stone outcroppings left, in fact. See, this one only got 600 left. And we look on the other side, there's this untapped 1,500, but outside that, it's all gone. So keeps are about to become a rarity here, which seems fitting. They called it Castle Age for a reason. In Imperial Age, we ain't got no time for forts. Yeah, I've got time for cavalry, though. Some Napoleonic era tactics going out here. I mean, the amount of horsemen that are looking to breach here. Spearmen moving across, though, will be a not so welcome sight for Bra, as he will be attacked in a matter of seconds here. It's going to be hard to flood through as well. He gets blocked. Can't move past. Or I say that, they leave a small breach. They'll move through. Decent damage done, but a lot of horsemen into the economy. Again, a miss micro by Gio. So unorthodox of him to leave that gap and give the opening that he's able to push through. And Bra now able to outrun the spearmen and once again look to extract value on the eco lines. And that's something that GUA can't afford. I mean, he's already limited vastly at this stage. Still being doubled up on the eco count. In the center, more horsemen riding through. GUA just trying to get some sort of postured force here, ready to move forward. But every time he looks forward, he takes 2 steps back because once again, his main army is in the back of his own base. Not exactly where he thought he'd find himself at this point in the game. That's the weakness of the Roost, right? Like, we talk about their strengths in the late game. Artillery's fantastic, yes. Streltsy, in theory, can be great. I've yet to see them utilized in a way that's impressed me. Not just in this game, but in general. So then you have to think about, like, the downsides. What's one of the big downsides for the Roost? Well, you can't stone wall. So, while you can't just build horsemen and burn down these walls and go through, Bra can. 4-5 palisade walls are not going to cut it. They're not going to protect you. Because although they might hold for a bit, the horsemen do not need to be backed up by siege to get through, which means they can very rapido move side to side and outmaneuver you in these situations. And it's why at this rate, GUA is just going to have to go. The longer he's forced into this turn and burn at the back of your base, the worse it gets, and that's why he moves forward. Archers in the mixer here. Not a great unit up against the horsemen, as we said. The spearmen out of position, trying for the line formation to just push them to the side, but they will already be going that way. They'll be able to go deep. Once again, damage is going to be done to Geo's economy. He just knows it. Keep is going to be repaired in the meantime. Man-at-arms are riding out to punish villagers who are here on repair duty. My issue for GUA is where are the Magos right now? Did they die? Like, are they all gone? Did he retire them? Because they're not on the front. You only have Springolds. So how are you breaking into this base? A hope and a prayer? I mean, I'd say religion doesn't love you, considering all those, you know, those magic villagers that still they're just there, guys. The 7 ghosts of Abbasid past. Streltsy are at least gaining some ground, but this siege is so slow. It gives so much time for Bra to react, and react he will. Defense force being built up as his aggression, his vanguard in the back of his opponent's base will be cleaned up. Norseman moving out again, forcing GUA back, and all of a sudden it's starting to hit stalemate. Both players struggling to build surplus food. Wood is drying up fast on this map, although Bra is definitely extracting a lot more value on that front. And then we get to gold. And, well, that story is really one-sided, folks. I mean, it is an absurd amount of caravans, now up to 38 active traders for the Abbasids. GUA, he still has not gone on a trade. It's too late for it now as well. It'd be too pricey of an entry fee for him. He needs to somehow reach 200 pop cap again. And that seems like an impossibility at this rate. 39 eco being tripled up now by the Abbasids. Something you usually expect to say, but not when you consider we're this late in the game and there's free TCs for the Roos. It's that hard of a hit to him. It's that hard to replace his units. And if this army falls, he might be struggling to replace this as well. Streltsy holding for the time being. This is a heavy investment as well. If the Streltsy go down, it's in trouble. That's why they snipe out the Mangonel instantly. And that's the thing he has to watch out for. If Bra invests his finite wood into 2 or 3 Mangonels, he can instantly just blitz this entire army. And should the Streltsy fall, this game will be all but GG'd out. And he goes. This building slowly burning down. People scratching their head, stroking their chin, wondering, can GUA do this? How much anxiety does he have right now? If we had heart monitors for both these players, who's about to have a heart attack? Because it has to be said, give you anxiety. I mean, you know, usually heart attacks are caused by salt in your diet, which means you've got resources in there. I don't feel like he's got resources in anything at this rate. He's running out fast. There really isn't much he can extract. Not just from a what's on the map perspective, but what he has to work from, and that's even more villages dead. GUA, it's do or die now. He's down to 38 eco. He needs to go and he needs to strike deep. There is a way he can win this if he can strike in and find the House of Wisdom with the main TC. But that might be a big ask. Remember, he still does not have a main siege battalion. No way of breaching these buildings quickly. Meanwhile, right in, talking of landmark victories, Bra's had enough of this. He says, I've done the damage. Now you do the time. He'll move in onto the Abbey Trinity. 6.5k HP, not the quickest to fall. All because the University upgrade. As you can see, he did get the building health. And that was because he needed the walls so badly. But now it might be a saving grace here. However, the damage is quickly being done on the Abbey of Trinity as they start to step around, making sure they're not getting poked by too many spears. That is going to deny the passive gold. In the meantime, GUA onto the caravan line, denying the gold that's coming into Bra, but Bra still sitting with a very healthy 5k surplus. And the Springolds, not what they used to be. They really don't do the damage anymore into TCs. It's pathetic, in fact. It's a mere tickling, as they only do 1 damage per shot. GUA, he will at least survive for the moment. Bra's horsemen have been cleaned up more or less. However, damage once again done. GUA stuck at 42 eco. Meanwhile, Bra up at 90. Going down quickly due to all the traders dying, and now a switch up is in way. Camel archers are coming out. He needs to address the spearman with the horsemen as well. The Zerg cavalry coming in. Holy crap! That is a lot of ponies and a lot of camels. And the Streltsy, they'll stand their ground, trying to hold them back, but they are going to be revealed quickly. The spearmen being sniped down very fast by the camels. Streltsy will hold on. Stringles trying to snipe out. GUA is going to lose the battalion eventually, though. This is the issue. It's simply a cluster truck. It's a race to net zero on the income, and it's a race that GUA will win, but the prize that he will get will be a defeat on his screen at this rate, as his main army is going to be cleaned up. The camels are healthy. The horsemen moving in. Spruils might be standing at the end of this, but GUA, how do you now replace this many Streltsy lost? And that's the big ask. That's the big question mark right now. Because you know what's going to happen after this, folks. Bra is going to march forward. As we hit past the hour mark, you can't help but feel it starting to heavily go into Bra's favor, especially with this many traders on the way. Oh my God. Like, hold on, boys. Petrol's down to $4 a gallon. Let's go. Ay, ay, ay. And how do you get back in now? There has been a transition in the Knights, but GUA, how does this help you? That's even more gold you need. Oh. Wait a second. There's still gold in his base after all this. But he's floating on passive gold right now, folks. This is just from the relics. That's all he has going for him. Knights will be forced to fight. Spearmen trying to do what they can. The camels are annoying. Knights, the spear's going to split up. Horsemen, once again, they see an opportunity. Bra is such a rat. He's such a filthy damn rat. He's like, oh, your base is open again. Let me just go ahead and close that for you. Camel archers somehow standing on the walls. Yes, you did just see that right there. Camels defying physics. Wait, no. Please tell me that is not possible. Please tell me they don't actually get the tower range increase when they do that. Please tell me that's not a thing. I need him to do it again. I need to catch it in a pause. Because in theory, like, they're up on the wall. They should be getting the extra range, right? In theory. I doubt it, though. It still looks so stupid. GUA. Yeah, this is how desperate he is for gold. He needs to actually capture those sacred sites because he's running out fast. More gates going down for Bra. Okay, apparently they definitely don't get the bonus. All right, good. I'm glad. I think that was I think I've seen, like, Siege get up on walls before. I've never seen the camels do it because I don't usually watch them going back and forth through. We don't really see camels that often. But, I mean, in fairness, it would be fair game if they got their range increase if they're up there. Just saying. I'd be okay with that. Giving the Camel Archers a nice old 5.75 range. Still dies to Lombos. But here we go. Once again, GUA, he's not out of this game just yet. I mean, he's scraping it together. The military count is comparative. And Bra, remember, he only just started returning value from the caravans again. And yet, once again, GUA is here with his premium units. Meanwhile, Bra, stuck on the discount, really. Yes, the Camel Archers add a layer of premium to it. But the Horsemen, not so much. This could be a little bit wonky, to be honest, because, well, the Camel Archers are going to count your spears. Your Knights are not going to handle this well, either, with the Camel on knees, reducing their attack by 20%. And all of a sudden, this is going to get dangerous. Brace is going to come out. GUA looking heavily outnumbered here. And look how quickly that military count decreases. This army is going to be turned and burnt again. Just as soon as they show their heads, they peer around, they say, there's some traders here. They get shut down. And this fight was not even close, folks. The 7 undead villager mascots there celebrating, cheering on their still alive Abbasid brothers, as now they can ride forward. And there is a lot of them, 25 Camel Archers, my God. I mean, they look pretty. Giant golden nuggets riding towards you. And they are peeing gold in this situation. I mean, look at it. Bra up at 5K gold still. This isn't even close anymore. And GUA, such a heavy hit once again, still in the Streltsy. But how do you replace the Knights? How do you afford it? I think most of this, like, I would love to see what the Golden Gate trades have been looking like statistically all game long, because I think that's why he survived this long, is the supplies have been keeping him afloat as he keeps trading food across for a guaranteed 150 gold. If it wasn't for that, he's out of this game. Now, credit where credit is due. GUA is holding on to a lot of surplus wood. The question is, what the hell do you do with it now? Do you go siege? Does that really do anything against Horseman Camolarches? Not really. Then what do you need it for? Like, maybe it's just long-term surplus for Spearmen and maybe Horseman yourself. But that's kind of all you're going to get. I wouldn't mind seeing Horseman here, by the way, because although Camel on Ease reduces your damage by 20%, it doesn't affect bonus damage. So you'll be doing the full bonus damage. So if I drag and we'll find a Horseman here, you can get the numbers. You can see 16 plus 13. So Camel on Ease, that'll take away like 3 of the damage. But you still keep the 13. You don't like negate some of the bonus damage on range. So you still be killing Camolarches pretty fast with Horsemen, and you'd also be like nullifying your opponent's cannon fodder with your own. But right now, like I just don't think Knight's the answer. I think it's a really big bait. And I think it's one that GUA has fallen hard into. You know, you got the Sabres, you got the Boys Fortitude, he felt good about it. And once again, we've arrived at this stage, folks. Because you don't have stone walls. Everyone who tells you that Rus are a powerhouse Civ in the hyper late game, call them a liar. Because this is exactly how you manipulate them. This is exactly how you punish them. On open maps like this, they cannot protect themselves. These palisades are pointless. Even if he was to wall them all, they're still going to get burnt down. It's not a stone wall. So the Horseman can just burn it down, run in, and once again stab into your economy. And you can see the difference here. I mean, I'm surprised. It's a miracle that GUA hasn't been forced out of this game yet. He is still hanging in, despite the fact that I don't remember the last time he was over 150 pop cap. Meanwhile, Bra, he's just once again sitting at 200. Feels good to be the Abbasids. After the Spearmen do this, there will be a moment where GUA will realize, I now have to run all the way back across the map with slow-moving spears. He's finally addressing the wall issue. It took a while, but he's going to get them down. However, he's still going to lose more villages. Just 1 or 2 elite horsemen are being such a pain in the ass here. And there's a move in again, but oh, no, just don't do it. Just don't walk through there, GUA. If Bra walls this up quickly, it's going to be to your benefit. But no, okay, bye. Remember, GUA doesn't have the vision on this. He wanted to snipe the Treb. But that's a costly attempt to snipe, and one that is going to outright fail. And half of them weren't even attacking. So you have to question what the hell they were doing here. Oh, there it is. The national anthem kicks in. Bra is about to complete the Great Wall of Bra. And my, oh my. The Abbasid Kingdom is at its mightiest point in history now. GUA looking pretty pitiful, though. I mean, it feels like, if anything, you know, he's got to tear down a ridiculous win condition. He's got to actually find a way to breach this base with no siege. Then he's got to find a way to get through all these camel archers, which there are a lot of them. All the while, still not building siege. I mean, there's question marks in my brain. There's question marks in the game, really. Like, what do you do here? Well, Streltsy, they'll at least clean up the Horsemen. The walling is going to be complete on both sides, but while there's a Great Wall of Bra on one side, there's a toy wall of GUA on the other. I mean, it's got gaps everywhere, damage everywhere, only 4k HP. It can be burnt down. It really feels like you need a way in, but unless you're going to build some rams, I don't know how you get in. You know what he could do? Guys, I figured it out. This is the moment. This is the moment. Siege towers. Siege towers can win this game. I'm not even memeing. You have a way to get on the wall. The Streltsy then get the bonus range. They take the reduced damage, but no, instead he fights in the center. Spears holding back the Horsemen best they can. The wraparound's going to come in. Streltsy, they shift spots, though. So they're not standing their ground. They're not keeping that maximum attack speed, but they are cleaning up the Horsemen quickly. Spearmen, a few are remaining. Culverin's moving forward. And in a trade, Streltsy on Camel Archers, I do have to favor the Streltsy here. They will blitz straight through the elite Camel Archers. Although the Camels have double their health, Streltsy have double the damage, and then more the longer they're standing still. Over the Mangonels, that's the difference. Mangonels are here for Bra. 2 of them, in fact. No! G-Way's gonna lose the army again. Ay, ay, ay. And I really don't think he has been using double time at all. That's painful to watch. Whole army down again. G-Way down to 43 military. Meanwhile, Bra healthy at 65. And look how much of that is into Springles as well. And the Mangos are coming out. Bra, he hasn't shown them for so long that you can respect G-Way not expecting it, right? Not anticipating it, clump it up the way he did. Because when was the last time a Mangonel spam came out? It's been that long because it's that hard to justify because there's that little wood left on the map. As I said, my mouse flying across my my desk there. I'm a little bit too excited by this one because this one, I mean, there's basically no wood left. Looks like someone dropped a nuke on this map. There's just nothing of value left to extract. That nuke's name is Bra. Oh, GUA has recovered his eco after all this. But for what is the real question? What can he do with it now? We talked about the gold situation, the wood as well. Look how low those numbers are getting. And that's where the Golden Gate can't really help you. Because remember, supplies are generated over time. And you have to trade gold one way or the other. So if your wood and gold are down, well, you have to trade to get gold. And you have to trade gold to get wood. So just to simplify that, double the amount of supplies would be needed. It means it's going to be hard to fill these armies. It means he has to win here now. Mangonel's coming out. GUA trying to buffer his opponent away. It's working for the moment. Not many Streltsy here, mainly archers now. This is how cheap has gotten. He can't afford Streltsy anymore. That unit's way too prima. And these Mangonels, they need to find their bang for buck. They need to find their usage. Choke points are going to be critical, but they are limited. A lot of open ground to play around, and this could hurt him. And seeing as people are still like asking about it, it is finally there. He did go into the trade wing, so Bra is healthy. You managed to get it in the end, and it means that he's getting beautiful trade, 42 wood from each of these traders. And there are quite a lot in motion, 31 working right now. So he's healthy. But a fight going on in the meantime. Mangonel shots coming out, Bra! Damage is heavy, he didn't respect it. Turns out Rock beats Camel. See you later. That's a hard switch over, Bra. Luckily, it wasn't the full battalion. He didn't send all the troops in, or that would have been catastrophic. But still, GUA now forced to come out and play. As the Trebs start to siege his walls, he will engage. Mangonel shots coming out. Horsemen trying to wrap around. Camels, they can't stag us anymore. They have to back away, but they're going to stack. And when they do, the Mangonels are going to slice them in two. For now, they're going to clean up the Horsemen. Push back. Mangonels are gone. Sprill having the edge right now. Only 4 of them, but that's all he needs because Bra no longer invests them. He has 2 Culverins and a Dream. Both players limited heavily on the wood front now. This could hurt. This game. Ay, ay, ay. Look at this. The Great Wall of Bra. He didn't realize that GUA had chopped through it. He's going to try wall in now. GUA, can he deny this though? He's going to get the Horseman in. Yes! He holds it. He has an opening. He has a way in. And he has denied it, but no, he reveals it! I'm dead inside. We're all dead inside. But luckily, the Mangonels can easily breach this squishy wall. It wasn't a full wall, it was only a quick wall. So he will get through quickly. And Bra. Ay, 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 ay. He's got a hard few minutes ahead of him. Because GUA has recovered his eco. We highlighted that. He's recovered his military. It might be a little bit cheaper of a military. No more heavy Streltsy reliance, but he has a way of fighting back. And with this many Mangonels, Bra is the one who needs to come up with an answer. And these Culverins, so strong, yet so countered by their own defenses. Because the stone walls cannot be fired over, folks. There's no holes in these walls that you fire out of. It means you have to be at the gates. It means the Mangonels can have the edge. If GUA gets the vision, he can assassinate you from the other side of these walls. And there's nothing you can do about it because Bra is full capped into cavalry. And there's no capper to that statement. There is nothing that can stand on these walls for him right now, despite the weird animations we see with the cavalry. Nothing is allowed on those walls. Meanwhile, GUA gets in there. Could even use him for himself. Streltsy and Archers there ready to stand on a wall. They feel comfortable. And more importantly, because of this breach point that he's now holding, he has access to a sacred site. He has a way in. He has a way of forcing something uncomfortable, but Bra won't let that happen. He moves out. He spots the wooden fortress going up. He's going to decap the sacred site. And he will hang around to try and assassinate the infrastructure. Meanwhile, G-Wei moves in. Fight around the center. A few Streltsy able to repel the Camel Archers away. In the north, this wood expansion was spotted. Too late for G-Wei to do anything. It really is a resource slog. Both players only making about 500 wood per minute now. That is how desperate it's getting. Farmland expansion going to be taken down by G-Wei. Sacred Site going to be decapped. That's minus 100 gold per minute. Not that Bra needs gold right now. He needs wood. He has too much gold. Right now, he's just trying to ram golden ingots into his villagers' mouths, saying, eat this instead of food. We're running out of food. Magos, though, they're out of position. G-Wei! Oh, no. He needs to just return fire right now. He's being chased onto. He needs maximum impact from these initial shots onto the camels. Mangonels are fallen culverins. They have the range advantage, and there's so many of them. 6 here now for Bra. The siege battalion's going to be cleaned up. The camel archers will try to trade out now, but they have to back away because the clump is still there in favor of G-Wei. One Mangonel is still standing. Now that one's going to fall as well. And the culverins, they can snipe from range, but he cannot take the close fight anymore. The Streltsy still have the edge. And Horseman in. The bracing you hear is only 1 or 2 spears. G-Wei, he mismicroed that. The back and forth, hair-ripping moments in this game as he just brutalizes his own siege army, leaving it as the rear guard, means he will lose so much of his effective firepower here, and he has limited wood and gold to replace it with. And that's a hard hit. The wraparound Horseman like, nom 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 nom, as they surround and engulf the Streltsy and the archers. And the Knights arrive too late. G-Wei's battalion in the center are gonna be too late. And they need to get out of here. I don't like this fight. This fight could be very bad for G-Wei. The Knights getting the reduced damage due to the Camel on ease. Streltsy trying to min-max their damage as it stands for the moment, but the raids are in again. And once again, G-Wei, when he should be pushing out with a superior firepower, he's forced to defend his base. As once again, the Abbey of Trinity was burnt to the ground. And the army, the Vanguard, they'll be cleaned up on both sides. And honestly, this Abbey of Trinity, I mean, I'd have to read up on his history. I don't know how many times it was realistically burnt down in history, but it's been burnt down a lot here today. He will rebank those relics, get that gold trickle going again, which he vastly needs. He needs to get more of the siege out, this time whipping out the bombards. No more Magos, he says. Instead, he will use the natural predator of all animals, the cannon. However, there's a lot of things you'd aim for, and this ain't bowling, my friend. If you hit one of these horses, it doesn't knock over 5. I know what you're thinking. How bad are my bowling scores? Not as bad as Bra's kill score right now. G-Wei, despite all this, is the one butchering time and time again. Breach through. Fight force. Streltsy trying to move across. Elite Horseman and Spearman as well. Moving out. Able to chase down. I say Elite Horseman, it's only Veteran Horseman. G-Wei can't afford the upgrade, it's too pricey. We said about him going Horseman a long time ago, but now look what's happening on the other side. Bra with the Lancers! He's bringing them out. His cavalry is superior here. And the Culverins out in the field. They'll look to snipe out. Sprill sniping from behind the safety of their walls. Will target the Culverins instead. Instead, actually going after the Trebuchets, which means the Culverins can actually assassinate them. And the fight in the center is not going the way of G-Wei. The front line is crumbling. The Camel Archers once again are reigning supreme. And with the Culverins out of the base pushing forward, the Bombards will be denied. So G-Wei has nothing. Down to 34 military. Bra now tripling him up. And these Camel Archers really have been the premium. Crap unit, most people said, not worth it. But at this stage in the game, a mobile cavalry unit, ranged with 20 damage, 300 health. They are a Leviathan. Trebs be knocking at your door. G-Wei going to start to lose control. The wooden fortresses are crumbling. G-Wei, I think he's got one more shot at this. The good thing for him is due to the Treb nature of Bra's composition, the Culverins as well, he doesn't want to leave anything behind. So he won't ride deep into the base quickly. But that does mean he's going to ride in the base strong, right? Like, you give him a minute or two, he's going to be deep. Powerfully deep. So G-Wei needs a defense force that can fully repel. Because if he loses a fight here, There's no doubt in my mind he loses the game. Right now, the game kind of already looks lost. But there's hope. Not much, but there's hope. A keep won't even protect you. There's just too many trebs in the field to rely on that either. So he's got all this surplus stone that doesn't really serve a purpose right now. And the sacred sites are going to start to be capped. Bra doesn't even necessarily need to go in his opponent's base. He can force him to come to him. And what a game this has been, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour and 20 minutes long on Dry Arabia of all maps. How often do you say that? Confluence, sure. Yeah, I expect that. King of the Hill, I can see that coming as well. Water maps, of course. But Dry Arabia. Feels like they've crossed the Arabian desert right now. That's how long it's been. And both of them are thirsty for water. Thirsty for that win. And Bra, well, he's a few steps closer to that oasis than GUA. GUA looking like he just might dehydrate here in the sun. He burns bright with hope. One more time into the breach. Movement forward on the TC. Peel off from the cavalry. Trying to draw GUA away from the safety of his keep. But he won't be baited just yet. A lot of camel archers here. 35, in fact. 11 Streltsy for GUA. That could be the difference maker. That's really your best Hail Mary here. I mean, the missile resistance kind of invalidates a lot of damage from your archers. The spearmen, they're counted out by the camel archers unless they can gap close. A lot of it looks bad. However, this looks bad from Bra. Elite Lancers. Court found wanting. Most of them will be assassinated. But instantly replaced. You heard that number straight away. He's pop capped at all times, and that's why he's going to ride in. Camel archers need to peel off a little. They don't want to stay in range of the Streltsy. Remember, the long Streltsy stand still, the more firepower they get on attack speed and damage. So you need to keep them moving. Bruh. Taking his time with this. Treb is slowly dismantling the keep. They're out firing it right now. There's just not enough repair coming out. Skrill's in the meantime have been trying to snipe out the siege. Targeting onto the villagers, trying to build the forward outpost. Culverin's not going to go for the trade on the Skrill's. The fight is underway. And the camel archers, he's had enough. Brass says, screw this, go in. No more starter stepper needed. He'll take him on. He'll eviscerate most of the front line, wrapping around, looking at the Streltsy as well as best he can with the Lancers straight in. Drawing the fire, which allows the camel archers to continue onto the spears. And after that, they can turn around and clean up the Streltsy. And Bra, healthy still. Military count evening up on both sides. But the Streltsy, if they fall, this is all going to be over. Maganel now in the front for Bra. Bra needing to back away from this. But he stands for the moment. Camel archer count is going down. Streltsy slow to chase. Maganel can make the difference still. Trebs have got through the keep, so no forward point for GUA to hold anymore. He just needs to keep slogging through. Body after body. Person after person. Shot after shot, but he cannot. He turns around. The Mangonels will scare him away once again. The kryptonite to his Superman. And GUA, he can't really afford many more Springles than this. The Culverin count is looking healthy for Bra. Up at 3, he can counter out everything coming. And after all that, GUA still holding, but losing ground again. The keep, the TC, they're down. The wall will not protect you. The defenses will not protect you. The Maganel count is now up to 4. Treb count increasing as well. And Lancers have been renewed. Bra will once again ride into GUA's base. And this time, barely any spearmen. He gets the eyeballs, he gets the scout on what's happening here. That down low info is important because it will inform him that he can march in. More entrances being made. Bra's like, well, what if I want to go raid Morika? Bra right now, collecting ridiculous amounts of gold. I don't think he's playing the Abysses anymore. I think this is a preview of the Swiss faction. Renowned for the banking. As he... Wait, did he accelerate this? He accelerated. 45. This man will not be happy until he's got 69,000 tons of gold in his vault. Well, he's a quarter of the way there. Continuing on. More buildings falling. Bra, never seemingly running out of resources ever. GUA always drained. Fight underway. Camel Archer's going to peel back, baiting the horseman in. Maganel going to be sniped out. Nice move there by GUA. Every little counts, and he needs every little he can get. Second Mago down. Trebs Trying to fire on anything they can. Lumbercamp's not really needed at this stage, though. Camel Archers, they split up to look for clues in the eco lines, in the production lines. Fight underway. Lancers forcing GUA away. GUA not got many spears, only 13 to hold them back, and that might not be good enough. He's in. Mago shots coming out. Damage being done. Spiral's trying to target them out to bring them down. Culverins are late to arrive to the party, but it really doesn't matter. The Camel Archers will clean up the Spirals now. The army is all but gone, and GUA, I think after almost an hour and a half, he's almost there. He's almost ready to accept the reality of his situation. Bra has infinite resources. He clearly found the pepperoni pizza code, because while he is running out on the Roost side, Bra seemingly never runs out of gold or anything else, because a non-stop slog of cavalry keeps arriving in his base. Streltsy are going to be cleaned up. Everything is going to be burnt down. He's in onto the Spreel. It's just a few lances to clean this up, and GUA, well, he budgeted for the winter, but he did not budget for a Bra Storm coming his way, and it will be good enough to slay GUA. Ay, 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 what a game out of Bra. The reliance on trade, the desperation by GUA, the gamble in the Streltsy, all of it. Back and forth. You could see points where GUA could take this game, but both of these players, once again, time and time again, sacrificing so much of their army, hurt them so much, and yet here we are now. At the end of it, all that mattered was the one that could trade, and the little boy who couldn't only just realized he could. And that sad realization will bring this game to a close, because the Trebs are in on the landmarks, tugging out the Abbey of Trinity first. There's nowhere left for GUA to run. Bra will take this long-ass game on Dry Arabia. What an insane game. Oh my God. Am I looking at charts for a game, or am I looking at someone's life support? This game, seemingly never ending. What an insane, I mean, good Lord. Just look at it's baffling to look at. This game, folks, was phenomenal. What a showing out of both players. Ways that both could have, of course, won it. But, bro, understanding that the later this game went, the better it got. I mean, honestly, I look at this game. I look at the way that GUA played it. I don't think he was necessarily wrong in a lot of his moves. I think the one I would question is his heavy reliance on Streltsy with nothing to siege. I think there was a few moments around, I'm trying to remember, there's so much of the game, around the 50-minute mark, maybe 40-minute mark, where he could have breached and he could have taken out a lot of the base. Had he done that, there's a way that he can actually maybe instantly just clap this game and take his opponent out. But I think almost the trade just became a bait for him. He was so fixated on denying that time and time again, because so often, when you get to that 50, 60, 70-minute mark in a game, you look at the state of the game, you realize everything is gone. You're like, someone definitely dropped nukes in this area of the desert. You go, what can we get if there's nothing left? And then you see your opponent just running happily across with his nice little donkeys, riding in with caravans of gold, and you're like, that mother ducker's getting infinite gold. No, I can't allow that. That needs to shut down. Infinite resources will beat me out. And that seems like it was almost like an overfixation with GUA. He's so dedicated to shutting out that trade time and time again. And admittedly, I can't blame him for being that focused on it, because the first raid-in was super successful. He butchered so many traders. But the follow-up ones, they felt like they were his undoing. Time and time again, overfixation on trying to stop the trade and not finding a way of stopping the source, right? Not finding a way of going for the landmark victory, not finding a way of shutting down the eco count, sniping out TCs, or at least solidifying control. Like, a play that would have been fantastic from GUA is if he moved forward and dropped a keep at that choke point in the wall that was still open at that point in the game. But I think after that point, it just felt like he was always playing behind. His transitions, although they may be uncomfortable when the map's so dry, you have to make them quicker than Bra. But I never felt like that was the case. I felt like Bra reached a point where he just realized Camel Archers could win him the game, and we didn't see Horsemen coming out to the very end. Spearmen weren't good enough for GUA. His heavy reliance on Streltsy seems cool in theory, but the inferior range can come back to bite them in the arse. And I understand why he goes for it. Streltsy against Camel Archers specifically is actually, in theory, very good, because Camel Archers have less range than Streltsy, so you should be able to, beat them out because you just get to stand still when they want to be in range. But the way this game actually plays out, it's just kind of sidestepping back and forth, dragging the melees out, then cleaning them up, knowing the Streltsy are not in range, or if they want to be in range, they have to reposition. And then when you re-engage, you don't have that cannon fodder in front of you to stop your premium unit from being sniped. I think there was definitely a way GA could have won this game past the hour mark, but it comes down to that formation. He gets baited in by the farms on the left side on the west sacred site. He draws his troops away and seemingly forgets about his siege weapons, which I think was still attacking from range, and that burns him out. From that point on, I felt like it was very difficult. Bra definitely tried to make it interesting with a few interesting micros, but nonetheless, fantastic play by him to close out the game.